How's it going, ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and we have the next one in a Scrub Talk discussion video. And since we're getting a brand new series starting next month, technically, because it's beginning of September, I think, is the sneak peek. I thought I'd go over an explainer about what Zenkai Series is, as with it being a new series with new mechanics, there's a lot of questions about what's going on, and everything about how it works. And some people, even after the video was quite clear on how it works, but some people are still confused about how it works and some questions about it. But some questions have been answered in a thread in the discussion group, I think by David Fashbinder, and as well as that, any things that might not have been answered in there are coming out in the Q&A, which you get soon enough. But I thought I'd go over a quick explanation, like a little bit of an explanation about what the new series is, what it's about, how it works. So people are get a bit of understanding so they can test a bit earlier before we get the actual set coming out. So before we do get in the video, I do want to say if you're not subscribed, feel free to hit that subscribe button. It helps me get to my goal of 1,000 subs and helps me out greatly. And also I have a giveaway going on as well when this comes out, which should be like one of the videos that shows up near the end that you can join in. And every 100 subs I do a giveaway. So the next one will be 500, and when I get to 1,000 I'll have a special thing going on for here, which I'll detail when we get to 500. And also feel free to like the video if you do enjoy these discussion videos I try to do. I try to make them sort of interesting ones or useful. And also comment down below to say if you want to see from me, or just comment down below in general if you just want to start some discussion. I always try to answer as best I can to any comments, and I'm thankful for them to get a bit of discussion going. And also do want to shout out to Duke's Gaming for being the sponsoring the ScrubGames webcam locals, giving us some packs for the upcoming few. So if you have any TCG needs, feel free to hit up Duke's Gaming on their site, which is down in the description box below, for all your TCG needs. And a good shout out to Deck Planet as well for being the best and only deck builder in the game that is always updating, maintaining the website, making it easy so you can untap, put the lists into untap by exporting them, and bring the deck lists off so you don't have to write out all the tedious long names. And as well, to be updating it ready for the next set, so you can start building your decks for the next set on there too. So check out them down below as well. So let's get into the video. Right, so Zenkai Series. I think the main question people like to ask about the Zenkai Series is, well, what is the Zenkai Series? So before I go over a little bit about what it is before we go into the specifics about the series. And first thing is it gives us some new areas. So with Z Deck and a Z Energy. So like most of the things down is like Zenkai Series and Z. So like it's a Zenkai Deck and Zenkai Energy, but it's put down to shortened down to Z Deck and Z Energy. And these go next to your leader. So on the left of your leader there'll be your Z Deck, which is basically a deck. It's similar to an extra deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! If you've played that game. And next to that would be your Z Energies, which you charge and use to help play cards from the Z deck. And as well as that, we get new cards that go in the Z deck, which is Z Leaders and Z Battle cards. So these are cards that are able to go on top of your leader or be played out into your battle area from your Z deck. So they're stored in there and go onto the appropriate area when you play them from there. And also we get some new ruling changes as well. There's not too many, it's just like two main ones I've seen since we got started, which have been quite interesting and kind of do change up a little bit. Well, one changes up a little bit, the other one is just more of a text one. And then lastly, it's a new block as well to keep the game fresh and enjoyable. Like people, I think I did see some comments about some people who were getting sick of the Unwire series, felt like going on for so long because it went on forever than intended due to COVID. But now we're getting a new series to hopefully freshen it up and maybe even get new players in, because we get 4 new starter decks for this new series as well, and they're all competitive right out of the box with some good staples in the deck, like using the new mechanics and reboots of old leaders that some players requested or enjoyed back in the early stages of the game, well, some early stages of the game, earlier stages. But yeah, so that is the main things about the Zenkai series, main like changes and differences, and we'll get into it a little bit. So next question is, what are these new areas? So we'll go to the first part, what are these new areas? Because we mentioned there is a new Z deck area and a new Z energy area. So we'll separate them separately because they're two different areas. So we'll start with the Z deck, go from like we do in the West, we read from left to right, so we go Z deck. It contains between 0 to 7 Z cards, so once again referencing Yu-Gi-Oh! It's, as I said, it's like an extra deck, and if you don't know what extra deck was, it was it in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a deck you have on the left side, an extra deck which contains certain cards that you can play at any point as long as you meet the conditions to play them, and it had up between 0 and 15. And it's kind of similar to this. You have between 0 to 7 cards. You can have none in there at all if you don't want to play them, or up to 7 max. And they're contained in there, and you can look through them as like any point you want. So just like you would in extra deck in Yu-Gi-Oh, you can look from any point in the game, just check what's in there, see what the conditions are for playing some of the cards, and put them back. And it's just a stack of cards, and your opponent doesn't get to see through. So it's similar to exactly the same as the extra deck in Yu-Gi-Oh, where your opponent can't have a look at them. Your opponent can just see you've got a pile of 7 cards for your Z deck, but you can look through them at any point you want. You can even shuffle them and anything like that. And also, because it's still a deck, it follows the same kind of card limits, once again similar to the extra deck, where you can only have a maximum of 4 copies of the card number in the deck. And since also another thing to mention is, since you can put Z leaders in there, and normally Z leaders you can only have 1 of, with Z leaders you can have you can have up to 4 copies of the Z leader in the deck as well. And this is kind of relevant because there are some Z leaders that we've been explored so far that could come off your leader after using a skill, and are they able to come off your leader, so you can play another one on top of it. And also, as well with that, as I said, is viewable at any point, so you can look through it and check exactly what's in there at any point in the game to see what you've got. And also, as well, a good question that came up in the thread as well, was that specific restrictions that apply to the deck the same as it would with the main deck. And what I mean by that is, 2 good examples is the Janemba Mill leader and the Freezer Prison leader. Both have a deck building permanent put on them, where you got restriction on deck itself when building it. So like, say for Freezer Prison, for example, it's got a permanent where you can't include battle cards with energy cost of 3 or less in your deck, and that would also affect the Z deck as well. So you won't be able to Z battle cards in your Z deck that are 3 costs or less. Say with Janemba, you won't be able to have 5 or more in your deck in your Z deck, due to the permanent on the Janemba leader. So those are some of the main things about the Z deck as well. And also, one thing to note is, which I think we'll go over, but if we don't go over, I'll go over it anyway. And then with the Z energy, it is, so how do you charge it? It's charged by comboing once per battle. So that means once per battle during either player's turn, when you combo a card, you can decide to charge that card at the end of the combo. So essentially, if you attack or are attacked, and then you combo a card to either push for damage or to defend from an attack, at the end of that battle, you can decide to put that card, charge that card into your Z energy, so it goes in your Z energy area, or if you don't want to, it just goes where it would at the end of the battle, so either play itself, or if it's got an effect to do that, or go to the drop. And that's once per battle, so it doesn't matter how much, you can do it multiple times in a turn, just once per battle. And as well as that, you can only charge 1 card that you combo with. So if you go into a battle and you combo 2 cards, only one of those will be able to be charged in your Z energy for that combo. So if you swung and combo 2 cards, you can choose one of them, put in your Z energy, and the other one will go to either to wherever it would need to go, either by playing itself or to the drop. So like you can charge multiple cards per turn, just once per battle. And also, Z energy, unlike normal energy, has no orientation like normal energy. It's just a stack of cards, because how you pay for Z cards using the Z energy is you don't tap them or anything like that. They don't tap them. You send, when you pay for Z energy for a card, you instead send that number of cards from your Z energy to the drop area to pay for the Z energy cost. And that's exactly the next point we're going over, which is that's how you pay for cards. So if you're playing with Z cards, which we'll see in a bit, have a normal cost like not normal cards do, and also Z cost, which is like under a little like stack icon underneath the cost icon that has a number on it, and that's the Z energy cost. So if you were going to pay for a card, you would pay the normal cost of your normal energy for the card, and then send the cards from your Z energy for the Z cost to the drop. Now, now you're probably thinking, what are the Z leaders and Z battle cards? Well, we'll start off with the Z leader, and they look something like this. Like, this is what a Z leader would look like. It'd have Z-Awaken on it. Underneath the icon, you'd have the little card stack with the number of Z energy required to play it, and then you'd have a Z-Awaken skill on it. So a Z-Awaken skill would have a cost and a requirement of what you can play it on. A cost being like energy costs plus conditions you need to fulfill to be able to play it on top of the leader, and the kind of leader you can play it on. So for example, this leader, it's a Z-Awaken. You need to pay 4 Z energy, and also for the Z-Awaken pay 1 blue energy. So you have to pay 1 blue in your normal energy and send 4 cards from your Z energy to your drop, and then you'd be able to play it on top of any blue Pycon card. But to evolve, you do need to be on your Awaken side, which we'll go over in the little points I've got. So as I said, a Z leader can only be played on top of an Awaken leader. So that means if you're unawakened, you cannot at all awaken on Z-Awaken. So you have to wait until you're flipped to your backside to be able to Z-Awaken, and you can Z-Awaken as you would a normal awaken. So either any point during your turn, or any point in your main or attack phase in your turn, or during your defensive phase, defensive step in your opponent's turn. That's when you can awaken just like a normal. And also, because there's a awaken skill, it will trigger things like Heartfelt Plea, so that's a good thing. Like Heartfelt Plea got a little bit of boost in this, because sometimes you wouldn't draw into it before you awaken, but now if you've got a Z leader to Z-Awaken, that can then trigger later on if you draw after, which is quite cool. And as I said, you need to fulfill the conditions in the Z-Awaken and the Z energy cost. So as I said, 4 cards from the Z energy to drop, and by paying 1 blue, you get evolve discard on top of a blue Pycon. And also, when they are in play, they are treated as the same as a normal leader when in play. So as soon as they're put on board, they're treated as a normal leader, not like anything different, just a normal leader. But you do have, but they can't be removed. So if like you got like an effect of a hit unison, which lets you pay 2 minus 1 or 2 to make your leader flip over to his backside. But where the Z leader now does not have a backside, because it's on top of the normal leader, it won't be flipped over. So like you got a little benefit there. And as well as that, actually that's nothing as well as that. It's just yeah, it's just treated as normally when I play. And also, as I said previously, if the leader Z leader would be removed from your leader, like by an effect, it is then removed from the game. So like there are some effects like we've seen on the green Go tanks, where after it uses a skill at the end of a battle, it's removed from the game. And if it would come off, so anytime a Z card is removed from the area it comes into play in, it is then removed from the game. So that is it for the Z leader. Then we have the Z battle card. So this is what a Z battle card looks like. So you've got the printed cost, and then underneath the icon of the printed cost, which is free, you've got the little stack icon which shows the Z energy cost. So this one would be free of your normal energy, free specified blue, and then sending 2 cards from your Z energy to drop to be able to play this from your Z deck. And as I said, it's not in your main deck, is only in your Z deck. Z cards are only in your Z deck, so you can only have 7 of them. And when you do play them, you just play them from your Z deck to the board after paying the cost. So that means they're accessible at any point. They got that little benefit of you don't have to draw into them. They're available at any time, which is quite nice, which gives them a bit of an edge over some other battle cards. And like I said, they're played by paying the energy cost and the Z cost. In this case, free energy, and then send 2 cards from your Z energy to drop. And just like with leader cards, when they're played, they're treated as normal battle cards. So if there would be, and I think they go off just the normal printed costs in the battle area. So it wouldn't be 5 because the 2 cost, it would be 3 cost, because the free printed cost is the energy to play it from your Z deck, as well as the extra addition to play it from your Z deck. So when they're in play, they're treated as normal battle card. You can target stuff for saying references a battle card. You can still choose this, which is good. And then just like with leader cards, when a when it is removed from the battle area, it's removed from the game instead. And also, a good thing to point out with that is most of them do have deflect, which is probably a reason why. But if a Z battle card would be stopped from coming into play, like its counter play, like with God Sealing, something like that, if it doesn't have deflect, it wouldn't go back to hand or go back to Z deck. It would be removed from game, so it's treated as being removed from game if it's stopped from coming into play. So yes, that does look like the exact reason why most of them, if not all of them, have deflect, because stop them from going to play, they're gone from the game. So that's with the Z cards. And now you might be asking, what are these new ruling changes? Well, there's only really two that I could see, but the main, like, one of them does make a difference. One of them is just makes a lot of sense. So the first one's regarding secret rares. So these are the so if you're new, secret rares are cards that have the ultimate tag, and ultimate is a deck building keyword skill. That means that you can only have one copy of a card of ultimate in your deck. And as of this video, the only cards that have ultimate are secret rares. And the new ruling change is secret rares now have, like, cards of ultimate have now a condition where when it would leave the battle area, it's now removed from the game. So before, it didn't have this. It would be like, so if you had your secret rare and you had, like, say you drop Pan and attack with it, and your opponent bottom decked with a skill or something like that, or it was KO'd, it would go to the drop or the deck wherever it was meant to be sent. So you could then potentially get it back and then do it again. But now any secret rare, not just the ones that have the permanent now that says they're removed from the game. Any secret rare when it gets to Zenkai Series, now if it comes into the battle area and will then be removed from the battle area, it's removed from the game instead. So technically, all secret rares that once they enter the battle area now have the same permanent as some of them do. So meaning they're gone for the game, which does suck for some of them, but then it makes no difference for everyone's. But that does give a little bit of an edge to some of the secret rares with the ultimate that are extra cards, because they don't actually get into play in the battle area, they're just activated and it's in the drop from hand. So they've kind of got that edge. But then I think there's only a few, and like some of them already have in their effect removed from the game when they're used. So, and then the other mechanic, it hasn't shown up. The other mechanic we have is this one here. Awaken is now included in the skill and not attack. So on old leaders, as you'll probably see, there are some in the text it would say then flip this card over. So like it was just to remind people that when you fulfill the conditions for the Awaken and do the effect, you then flip the card over. Now Awaken has been included, so the flip is part of the Awaken skill. So you'll see on some leaders now that just say when your life is blah blah, or you meet this condition to alternative Awaken, you do the condition of either untapping 2, drawing 2, or untap, draw 1, and that's it. And then maybe take your life down to a certain life, and then that's it. It won't say to flip this card because the flip part now is meant to Awaken. So if you ever see that, that's the reason why. It's just a bit of text change. Band are always trying to clear the text. Just sometimes they do it well, sometimes they don't do it very well, and it triggers a lot of people wondering why it's worded differently to everyone's with these same kind of effect. So hopefully that should quash that. But that is it for today. That is that's the discussion today to go over the Zenkai series. If you have any questions or if you feel like I've got anything wrong, feel free to comment down below. It's very helpful to help me improve and answer questions, just to get some discussion going as well. And these kind of videos are here just to help and give useful information to get some good discussion going. So once again, feel free to like the video if you do enjoy it. Comment down below if there's anything you have questions about. And lastly, subscribe if you haven't. It gives you updates on my videos and can help you join in my giveaway as well. So once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.